David, thank you so much. Good morning, everybody, and welcome. We will call to order this special meeting of the Lawrence County Salary Board. Today is Tuesday, June 24th of 2025. A few housekeeping items. This meeting was advertised in accordance with the law. That ad appeared in yesterday's Newcastle News. And we would ask for those of you in the room, if you could please silence or put on vibrate your cell phones. We appreciate you doing that. And let's do the Pledge of Allegiance and have a moment of silence. Then we'll go over a few other preliminaries. Tammy, could you lead us in the pledge, please?
Sure. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please remain standing. We'll have a moment of silence. Thank you, everybody. Let's establish a quorum. Vanessa, could you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Prestapine.
Here.
Commissioner Sinaloa.
Here.
Commissioner Kennedy.
Here.
Commissioner Vogler.
Here. Thank you. The four permanent members of this board are present. And under explanation of procedures to the audience, a few notes that I want to make. The county code requires that each county non-home rule county have a salary board, and the salary board is comprised of the 3 commissioners and the elected county controller. They are considered the permanent members of this board. When either the courts have a matter to be brought before the board, and if they do, the president judge is then a temporary voting member of this board, or if any of our elected officials have business to be brought before the board, they become a temporary member of the board and have the ability to vote on matters pertaining only to their request and their office. So we're going to see that in just a few moments. The board is responsible for creating positions, eliminating positions, and establishing the rate of pay for non-union and management positions. All union position pay rates are established through the union contracts and the collective bargaining process. So this morning we have a couple of different requests to consider. I will note that this board also looks only at the positions. And you'll notice we're not naming people's names because people come and go. We have new hires, people retire, people move on to other positions. And our role is to deal with positions only, not the people. So for example, we're going to be considering a couple of requests from our registered recorder. And if those are approved, then in her role, she will have the authority to hire people to work in her office. We don't have that authority. That rests with the row officer, the elected row officer. And Tammy, when we get to you very shortly, since you'll be a voting member, you are welcome to come up here and sit with us. We can pull a chair up, or you're welcome to stay there. It's totally up to you. We want to give you that opportunity if you'd like to come up front with us. But let me get through a couple other housekeeping items. We should always offer an opportunity. We'll do it twice for public comment, now and then before we adjourn. If anybody has a public comment, we will welcome it. We ask that it be related to salary board matters. So let me open the floor and see if there are any public comments at this time. Hearing and seeing none, thank you. And let me see if my fellow board members have any opening comments they'd like to make. Commissioner Kennedy? No. Thank you. Mr. Prestapine? No. Mr. Sonata? No. Okay, thank you, gentlemen. In our packet, you will find the minutes of the March 13 salary board meeting. The 4 of us get to vote on this proposal. So gentlemen, please look them over. And whenever you're ready, I can take a motion for us to adopt the minutes. make a motion, we adopt the minutes. Thank you, Chris. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, David. Any questions or concerns about the minutes? If not, we'll ask Vanessa to call the roll.
Councilmember Preston.
Yes.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes.
Motion carries.
Thank you. One other thing I'll note before we call on Tammy. I want to enter into the record the fact that the salary board held 2 executive sessions to discuss personnel matters. They were held on May 14 of this year as well as June 17. Make note of that fact. Now this morning, the Register and Recorder has, Tammy Crawford has 3 items to be brought before the board for consideration. What's the number of the first one?
26.
26. This is Salary Board Resolution 26. And I'm going to turn it over to Mrs. Crawford. This first proposal would create a Chief Deputy Recorder of Deeds position, the base salary of $45,000. It would also eliminate the position of Senior Chief Deputy Recorder. But I'll let Mrs. Crawford provide us background and information if you so choose.
Sure.
Thank you.
Thank you. Just
Would you like to sit here?
no,
Okay.
no, I'm good.
And I think, can the microphone, can the microphone pick her up from there? Okay, you're fine.
Okay. So I would like to, as you stated, create a Chief Deputy Recorder of Deeds position in our office with a base salary of, in the Register Recorder's office with a base salary of $45,000. I will be eliminating the Senior Chief Deputy Recorder of Deeds position.
Thank you. And let me ask my fellow members, the 3 proposals that Mrs. Crawford has kind of all go together, if you will. Would any of you object if we give Tammy the opportunity to talk about all 3 of them, since they're interrelated? And then would you mind at the conclusion, if we're all agreeable, to take one vote on all 3? Now, if we have to divide them, we can do that. But is that an okay way to move forward? Are you comfortable with that? Okay. So we've heard Tammy's proposal for the first position. That's Resolution 26. Resolution 27, create a Deputy Register of Wills position, base salary $43,000. Incidentally, positions we're talking, these 2 positions so far are non-union.
Correct.
But I'll turn it back over to you, Tammy, to talk about your second proposal.
So my second proposal is to create a Deputy Register of Wills position with a base salary of $43,000.
Thank you. Questions for Tammy on these first 2? Chris, any questions so far? No. David, so far, any questions? Dan, any questions so far? Thank you. And then proposed Resolution 28 would establish a one-time increase in the salary of the longest tenured employee who serves, would be designated as Senior Chief Deputy. And again, I'll stop and let Tammy offer. And I think in the conversations we had with you, and I'll let you elaborate, when you put all 3 of these together, what's happening in your office, I believe, will result in a savings. I believe you had said that. Now, I could be wrong.
I did say that, yes.
Okay, so I'll let you elaborate
Okay,
as we talk about number 28, and then you can kind of wrap it all up if you don't mind.
sure. So number 28 would be the longest tenured employee as a Chief Deputy in the Register and Recorder's office shall receive a one-time increase of $2,000 and be designated as Senior Chief Deputy. So that has been in effect in the past. It was just for Recorder of Deeds, just because that was our longest tenured Chief Deputy at that time. So now it'll be like a blanket, it'll just be, the title will just be Senior Chief Deputy. And I just also wanted to say that I will be lowering costs by doing this. I will also be decreasing staff by 1 at this time. The savings to the county will be around $44,000.
Is is either in full or in part, the reason being that is someone, without naming names, do
Yeah.
you have a retirement that has led to these changes?
I do. My senior chief deputy recorder of deeds retired after 51
I
years.
see. And again, that necessitated you having to make these changes within your office. But because of that, again, when you add it all up, the net effect would be a savings in your budget.
That is correct.
Thank
Thank you.
Mr. Kennedy, do you have questions for Mrs. Crawford?
No.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Prestipine? Thank you. And Mr. Sanada?
Just Tammy, I know your office does a lot, and it seems like your office is like two offices in one. Am I correct in that assumption?
It is, yes.
So your one deputy is going to be in charge of one part of that unit, and the other is the other part.
Correct.
That's what I thought. I just think that, for the record,
Yes.
I know that, the amount of work that's done in your office is substantial, and I know that, we've seen it with the revenue that you generate for the county. So, I just want to thank you for your efforts and finding cost savings in this whole process, and at the same time, being able to, designate some authority to one of your deputies. So, just thank you for that, and to your employee of 51 years. We wish her the very best. I mean, she was at the county for 51 years.
Yes.
Is she the longest tenured county employee?
I think that Jan was, and then Frankie from maintenance and.
Frank, I was gonna say, was
Yeah, and
Jan have
Chris.
50 years? And I know Frank is, that's good longevity. I mean, they're all doing well, health-wise, and hope she enjoys her retirement after 50+ years.
Thank you.
Chris, thank you. And I'm glad Chris pointed that out, because am I correct that in larger counties in Pennsylvania, the offices are actually two separate offices in some counties? You have a register of wills and a separate recorder of deeds, or am I mistaken?
No, you're correct.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in our size county, the two responsibilities are combined,
Yes,
but in larger counties, they are separate officials.
they are. Yes.
Thank you. David, I know you've worked with Tammy on formulating the wording of the three resolutions. So I assume, from the standpoint of the controller's office and what you need to have in order for this to happen, you're satisfied with the wording?
Yep.
Okay, great. Tammy, anything else before we bring this up for a vote?
No, I think we're good. Thank you.
And because you're a voting member, if you would wish, a motion would be in order for us to consider resolutions 26, 27, and 28. You're welcome to make that motion if you'd like to.
Can I make one comment?
Yes, you may.
I just noticed it here. All these three are in effect May 6th of 2025. You're okay with that?
Yeah, that's when these people actually, my understanding is when they actually started doing these duties. We just haven't had a meeting until now.
That's correct.
I'm glad you brought that up, and quite frankly, it refreshed my memory. Yeah, that's right. The change took effect back in May.
It did.
Okay.
Yes.
So there's some retroactivity here. I had forgotten that, quite frankly.
I just noticed that. I remember we talked about it in our executive session.
Thank you.
I just noticed that, so thought I better bring it to you.
Thank you, Dan. Would you wish to make a motion for those three resolutions?
Sure, I'll make the motion.
Thank you. We have a motion on the floor. Would someone care to second it?
I'll second.
Thank you, Chris. Final discussion, concerns, questions, comments? Once again, we're voting on the three resolutions, 26, 27, and 28, that have been brought forward by the register and recorder. It's been moved and seconded. We'll ask Vanessa to do a roll call.
Register Recorder Crawford,
Yes.
Controller Prestipine,
Yes,
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler.
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. Tammy, thank you so much.
Thank you.
You're welcome to stay, but I know you're a busy
Yeah.
person, so
Thank you all.
we
very
appreciate
much.
your being here.
Thank you.
Take care.
You're welcome.
The next proposal is Resolution 29. This is a proposal that comes to us from the jail, And both Warden Mallmeister and Deputy Warden Spillvogel are here today, as well as in his capacity as chairman of the prison board, Commissioner Sanada. This proposed resolution would create an MAT/outpatient coordinator position at the jail, the base salary being $40,000. It's a non-union position. The position would be paid for by grant funding. It would not come from the county's general fund. And the language in here states that the position will be eliminated when the grant funding to pay for the position is no longer available. I'm not sure who's going to present this, whether it's the warden and Deputy Spillvogel or Chairman Sanada, or however, I'll defer to the chairman first, and I don't know if you want to defer to these folks.
I want to defer to,
Okay.
the board.
Deputy Spillvogel, if you would, you've been working on this, if you'd like to present it.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. The Lawrence County Corrections Facility has run a very successful grant-funded medication-assisted treatment program for incarcerated individuals since 2018. This is a mandate through the government that has to be done through those individuals that come into the facility that are currently on any medication-assisted programming, and we have to continue the programming with them. And as I said, since 2018 has been grant funded. We have an excellent grant writer that has been able to secure funding through the Pennsylvania Commission on Crime and Delinquency. Unfortunately, this current administrator is retiring, so therefore a replacement is needed. Therefore, we are requesting the creation of a program coordinator. And as Commissioner Vogler stated, all costs associated with the position will be absorbed by the current PCCD grant. It does expire at the end of this year. There is the possibility of grant funding continuing. We just don't have any of that information yet. That's why the nature of the position is to have it here to finish the funding that we have, find a way to continue programming. Hopefully there is additional grant funding that comes through. This program coordinator is responsible for the scheduling, tracking, and coordination of individual telehealth-based medication-assisted treatment programming and outpatient services for the incarcerated individuals at the Lawrence County Correctional Facility. It is a non-clinical administrative role. The coordinator ensures timely access to services by completing the required referral and pre-screening forms and coordinating secure telehealth appointments with contracted providers. So this would be a continuation of the programming that we currently offer right now.
Well, thank you, Mrs. Spillvogel. That was helpful. Is it the retirement of the one individual that's more or less triggering this? Is it safe to characterize it that way?
Yes.
And so if one person is leaving, and I'm sure we talked about this, I guess I need to hear it again.
Okay.
Why are we not just plugging a person into that position of the person that's leaving? And I'm sure you've told me this, but I need to hear it a second
No,
time.
that's okay. And I did a bit of an explanation for that, just for clarification, because a lot of people don't realize just what the programming is that we have. Putting someone in there to fill that spot, because the grant funding is just for a short amount of time, we tried to streamline to make sure that we continue the services that we have, although there were other duties that this individual person did. Having communication with the outside agencies that we do work with. We do work with New Horizons, Discovery House, the Drug and Alcohol Commission. So what we are doing is streamlining as much as we can so that we can fulfill the needs that we have and make sure that our individuals that we currently have in the programming can continue to get the services as well as the medication assisted that they have been. And I think it's just, not knowing what the future holds with the grant situation. Again, we'll continue this as long as the grant funding is there. Any costs associated, including benefits as well as salary, are covered under the grant.
I appreciate your going over that
Sure,
again.
sure.
Thank you very much. I'll start with since he chairs the prison board, we'll start with Commissioner Sanada.
Yeah, I think we still will give a very detailed explanation, so, it's something we have to do, it's required, and to do what we have to do for the position, and just one quick question, is there cost savings here?
It's neutral because it's grant funded, and Controller Prestipine, we get together with him and make sure that we have funding available and keep track. Quarterly reports have to be done. Those things have to happen. So we do work hand in hand with the
So this is
Controller's
roughly
office.
neutral, so there's
Yes.
no additional costs, so. That's all I need.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Prestipine, questions?
No.
Thank you. Mr. Kennedy? Thank you. I should note that prison board is a 7-member board. We actually have 4 of the 7 members sitting here right now, the other 3 being the president judge, the sheriff, and the district attorney. That's all based on state law as to how we're structured. So you've heard the proposal from Deputy Warden Spillvogel, and we've had our discussion. Assuming there are no other questions, would someone care to make a motion for Resolution 29?
I'll make that motion.
Thank you, Dan. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Chris, thank you so much. Assuming there are no other questions or need for discussion, could we have a roll call, please?
Controller Prestipine,
Yes.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy,
Yes.
Commissioner Vogler,
Yes.
motion carries.
Thank you, Vanessa. We thank you both very much.
Thank
You're welcome to stay. We have one other item to talk about, but if you have to head back across the street, we understand. Thank you so much.
Oh, wait.
Okay, thank you. The final proposal today is Resolution 30. And the request is actually a dual request. It's coming from both the Commissioner's office in conjunction with the Voter Services Office. What this proposal would do would create an election coordinator / executive aide position at a base salary of $41,600. It's a non-union position. And once this position would be filled, the current part-time election coordinator position will be eliminated. And we've asked our county administrator, Joe Vanasco, to give us a little bit of background on this proposal, if you would, Joe.
Sure, and thank you, and you've already explained a lot of it very well, Commissioner. What I'm asking for is a coordinator of elections, a full-time coordinator of elections / executive aide position to be created with the elimination of the part-time coordinator of elections. It's a position, we've discussed for some time really about having the ability to float somebody for offices that are struggling for one reason or another at a particular time, whether there's a changeover in management or simply an extended illness or any other purpose that leaves an office shorthanded. So this position is designed to alleviate a bit of the burden when somebody in the office is off. The position is designed to be a full-time position. Duties would be as assigned by commissioner or the particular department head where the staff member is placed at that time. It is seasonal in nature. It's a full-time position, but it's seasonal in nature that it would be a shared position with the voter's office. For 6+ months out of the year, that position would fall back in the voters in all likelihood to continue to get ready for the election and the primary elections and so forth. Things that you would see the position doing would be non-union in nature, mail, phones, receptionist duties, typing, keeping minutes, things of that nature. And the placement where the person would be located would have to be a non-union position. Again, you already said, but the position will pay $20 an hour or $41,600 with a benefit package.
Is there a flexibility, Joe, and you've mentioned two offices, the voter's office as well as the commissioner's office, but if we had another department that falls under the jurisdiction of the commissioners,
Yes,
assuming it's a non-union position, we would have some flexibility to assign that person if needed, if an emergency
Absolutely.
arose.
absolutely. And, you know, looking at some of our offices, which are smaller in nature, human resources, the director's out ill right now and unfortunately ill. Hopefully he'll be back in the next day or two. However, goes on vacation next week. So that position could potentially be down, and especially with the payroll week and reconciling the different things that they do in HR. With payroll, being able to send that person down to help out with the reconciliation or just to handle phones and traffic coming in and out of the office.
Do you know if it would be able to go beyond the jurisdiction of the commissioners? And I'll use an example. Mr. Prestipine doesn't fall under the jurisdiction of the commissioners. He's independently elected.
Yes,
He's the boss of the controller's office. We have no authority over him. But if there was a need in his office for a non-union person to come in to fill in for, let's say, a non-union person who was on,
sure.
would we have that and I guess I'm asking both of you, would we be permitted to share that person with a row office? I don't know the
I
answer
would
to that.
think it would just fall under the commissioners, but I could be wrong.
Okay.
I'm not sure.
We might have to, if,
Didn't think of that, actually.
I
Yeah,
guess if we get to that point,
Right.
between your solicitor and our solicitor, we could
yes.
have that
I would
conversation.
be very comfortable with,
I would hope it would never have to happen.
yeah.
But,
I'd give anybody the controller Prestipine. He's a good guy. They'd enjoy that probably more than being around me upstairs.
we've had a situation in the commissioner's office. You know, I've noted many times when I started here in '04, there were, aside from the county administrator and the solicitor, there were 4 administrative staff people in that office. We're now down to 2. And last week we had a situation where one of the individuals had taken some vacation time, some well-deserved vacation time. And the other individual had an illness situation which precluded her from being able to come to work.
Yes.
We had to scramble. And by doing this allows us a little bit of flexibility.
It does.
When these things happen.
It does, and it's needed, and like I said, I've seen it in various offices and the need. And nothing more, I mean, we look at the day-to-day operations, some of the stuff that we're not, I don't know a whole lot of. The mailroom, for example, became a big problem last week, you know, and we were fortunate before the one vacation that we were able to train some additional people, but you know, it's stressing, that's for sure.
This will help in that effect. I do want to reemphasize the fact that while we are creating this position, we are also eliminating this position on the books. I'll start with Dave to see if he has questions or concerns.
I do.
Okay, thank you very much. Dan?
The other thing I'll say last week was, you know, trying time, especially in the mailroom, but the nice thing is we had people in this courthouse who stepped up to the plate and made sure it got done. We appreciate what they did for us. And that the person that's, I'll call her a rotator, you don't know where she's gonna end up, but she's willing to do this also, so we're gonna give thanks to them. Plus to our lovely one over here too, Vanessa. Thank you. You gotta take your vacation.
Thanks.
Thank you, Dan. Chris?
I just emphasize that, you know, I know it was a stressful week last week, but I do want to commend Mr. Vanasco for his efforts because he answered telephones. He did things that, besides being the administrator, really stepped up. And we all answered telephones last week, which is important. I mean, that goes with the territory, but I just want to point that out, Joe. We do appreciate your efforts.
Oh, no,
because
it's a team, and
it
I
was a team effort. Yes.
appreciate everybody's help.
Yeah, and I just think this position, I think we've talked about this probably about the last year, because, you know, with what's happened, a lot of offices have been downsized. And when you go down to a two-person office, and it's just the last week or two, it happened with our office, it happened with downstairs at Human Resources, and it happened with Tax Plan. So I mean, 3 offices in 1 week being down an employee when you have, 2 theoretically in the office. So I think this is something that's needed, and it actually will be cost effective in the future, because now there won't be a need to hire an extra person in this office or that office, and we have flexibility to move them. And I think, if we can look into that, as far as your question, Chairman, with Controller Preston, if there would be a need in his office or Danny's or anybody up here, if we would be allowed to let you employ for a day, if need be. I mean, hopefully that won't happen, but you never know, illness, sickness could happen. So, I mean, I just think this is something that I know in the private sector it's done a lot, and I think it's something that would be cost efficient up here at the government center. So it's something I'm happy to see this happen. So, but I do want to point it out, it's just that last week when we've seen all these things sort of transpire, this come to a decision. This is something that really needs to be done. So that's really all I have to say.
Thank you for that, I appreciate it. Joe, anything else?
No, thank you.
Thank you.
This is proposed resolution 30. Would one of the board members wish to make a motion?
I'll do it.
Thank you. Is there a second?
I'll second.
Thank you, sir. Are there any other questions or conversation we need to have? Hearing none. Vanessa, could you call the roll?
Controller Preston,
Yes.
Commissioner Sinata,
Yes.
Commissioner Kennedy.
Yeah.
Commissioner Vogler?
Yes?
Motion carries.
Thank you. I do want to note that we've had other departments and elected officials approach us with a number of various requests. But we've basically recommended to them that we've asked them if they'd be kind enough to wait until we begin formulating the 2026 budget. And we're halfway through the year now. But what prompted the need for this meeting, and I think that was carried out or spelled out between Mrs. Crawford, the jail, and this situation that Joe brought to our attention, these were matters that could not wait. And that's why we had to convene this meeting. So I know there are some other folks in the organization that have matters they'd like us to consider, but we're of the opinion that those matters, it's more appropriate that those matters be rolled into the process later in the year, particularly if we can incorporate them into the annual salary board process as we formulate the 2026 budget. I hope I didn't make a misstatement. I think we're all on the same page with that. Okay, thank you. Do any of the board members have any new business to be brought this morning? I have none. Thank you. Public comment. Anybody in the room wish to make a public comment regarding salary board matters? Before we adjourn, I'll see if my colleagues have any closing comments. Mr. Sanada? I have none, sir. Thank you. Mr. Prestipine? Mr. Kennedy?
None.
Thank you. Joe or Vanessa, any last minute concerns?
No, sir.
Well, we thank everybody for being here today and those who formulated all of this. We appreciate you put it all together. There being no other business to be brought before this board, may I have an adjournment motion?
No motion to adjourn.
Is there a second? Second. Thank you. All those in favor, please say aye. Aye. Opposed, the same sign. Motion carried. Meeting's adjourned. Thank you, everybody. And Joe's going to turn off the.
Excuse me.
Thanks.
No problem.
See.
You sign it?